Hello everybody, today we'll be talking about the Kuretake Pearl Colors watercolor palette. I'm just going to start off by making sure that everything is in the correct order and making sure that I don't mess up like I did last time in the last video. And we are going to just be adding some water to make them nice and juicy and getting them ready to use. So I'm going to start by writing down the swatch numbers of each color just to make sure I don't screw up the order more than I normally would. And we are going to start swatching the colors. I did a pure color swatch and then a gradient just to show how they perform as their full pigment as well as being kind of washed out with water. So first we're going to start off with the red of the palette, and then we're going to go on with every other color. Now when you swirl them, it looks really pretty and it looks magical. But when you actually put them down on paper, they kind of have like a gray cast to them. And I'm sure this is more supposed to be used... it's supposed to be used more as an accent palette rather than creating a full piece with it, because that pearl is really supposed to pop with the colors that you use. But again, that's just how you choose to use them. When I do the finished piece, you see it, I feel like it kind of just battles against each other, and they're like, oh no, I want to sparkle, no, I want to sparkle. So here I am, I'm just drying them all, and you can really see that gray cast, especially with the orange color, and it really doesn't really show up as much with the other colors, but really that orange has that gray cast to it. I don't know if it's just the pigments that they used or whatever, but they have a pretty good coverage. They're not too translucent like we had the problem with the other ones. But now I'm just gonna go in with the pencil, and we are going to start sketching. And for some reason, I just did one sketch today. You can see later how I should have done a lot more swatches. I mean, not swatches. I should have done a lot more thinking English. Can't do English today. I should have done I should have done more sketches, more thumbnails to figure out what I wanted to do, because I kind of just jumped in and said, okay, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to make her look like she's floating because the pearl colors reminded me of space, and we're just going to go in with that. So you see me taping down the paper, making sure everything is straight, and I speed everything up a whole bunch because I don't want to bug you with a 25-minute video of me. Well, really, it'd be like 2 hours if I did it in real time. So here you see me using that orange. I figured out if I diluted it a lot, it became like this really nice, soft, like burnt orange skin tone. And I'm just messing around with the colors. And then here I realized that the blue and yellow coat reminded me of Coraline. So I'm like, maybe I don't want to do that, but I went with it anyway. So you hear me. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? No, you see me sketch out everything and erase it a bunch of times because, again, I didn't really have a solid plan, and I didn't like how the girl on the left was standing. It was just too static for me. So I'm like, I want something more hunched over and looking like she's like creating something. I really also need to work on my poses, so that's why I tried to make something a little bit more dynamic than what was shown before. And I also don't want to talk everyone's ear off, so I'm just going to let you kind of enjoy the music and enjoy me sketching at... I believe this is sped up 1,000 times because I'm super, super slow when it comes to sketching out something. Here, originally, I was going to have a pearl, but I decided, hey, why not try and draw a cat? It didn't really work. I can't draw animals. I really need to learn how to draw animals more. So here I am just trying to draw an animal and putting in the face, and I made the animal look like it was an angel, but again, I can't draw animals. So here we go, just adding some more details and trying to make this idea work. And I wanted to keep it very flowy when it came to this design of this character, because I felt like the color should be the main point of this design. Because the colors have that pearlescent texture to them, I didn't want nothing too complicated, and I think that's where I went wrong with this piece. I tried to focus way too much on making it flowy and dynamic, and really I should have just kept it plain and simple. And that's why you see after I'm done inking this, I kind of just throw the colors on, and I knew I was done. I was not happy with it, and instead of just throwing in the towel and just throwing it away here, I thought, hey, might as well just show you what the end product of this disaster looks like, so you don't make the same mistake that I did. Do your swatches. Do your swatches. Do your thumbnails so you know that you have something that you really like. I do really like the orange tone to be a skin color. It doesn't have as much of a pearl finish if you do water it down, and it's actually really translucent, so it looks like a good base color for skin. So next you see me it's the next day. I noped out of that. I did not like that painting at all, so I'm like, okay, we gotta try some more sketches. We gotta try one more time. And I decided to go with something more under the sea because I really liked that blue. Here's me trying again and coming up with a treasure chest theme. I'm not going with a human this time because, again, the colors are all pearlized. So I thought if we made it all shiny, it'd look really weird. So I'm just going in, making sure the watercolors are nice and hydrated, and using a ruler to make sure everything is straight, which I'm not good at freehanding. So thank God for rulers, right? And I actually came up with this idea last night in my head because I was just not liking the first attempt of using this palette. So I decided to do a treasure chest open at the bottom of the sea with a bunch of seaweed and all that fun stuff with it. I felt like the blue did not have as much pearl powder in it as the rest of the colors, so I thought that would be good as a good base. The green, surprisingly, has a lot of the pearl pigment in it. As you see when I go to color in all the seaweed, that's the thing that really pops for some reason. But here I am just sketching in some more details and looking up some coral on my phone, on Pinterest, just to get more of an idea of what I want in the final piece. And you can see me trying to draw a lot of coral, and it doesn't look good, so I'm like, nope, I'm just going to stick with seaweed and the regular bushy coral. Now I do go in with Sharpies to ink all of this instead of just black, because I recently really like the look of using a colored ink with the exact same color or a different variation of the shade. I think it looks more put together than just using black, but that changes with each piece that I do. So here I am just going and inking everything, and I will let you enjoy the music while I ink this, and I will get back to you once we start using the paint. So I'm just trying to put in a base layer of every color so I know where everything is. And I didn't want to do a full piece with the Sharpies, even though I could, and I do plan on doing a video where I do a whole thing of Sharpies, just because I like the different colors that I have in the pack that I got. If you hear chewing, that is my dog chewing on a bone. I apologize. But he really likes bones right now. My dogs both just got bones for Easter, and they really enjoy chewing on them, so if you hear them in the background, I'm sorry. But here I am going in with that blue and creating a sort of gradient. I haven't mastered gradients when it comes to watercolor. I'm not going to fool anybody. But I'm just putting some blue, and I'm going to spritz a little bit of rubbing alcohol because I thought that would look really cool, but it turns out it just makes everything bleed together. But I just worked with it. I thought it kind of just added another, kind of like another factor of making it look like it's underwater because everything's kind of running together. So here I am just using my heat gun and drying everything. Not really super fun, right? Waiting for paint to dry, but the best thing in the world is that heat gun. I highly recommend it. If anybody's looking for a way to dry their paint faster, heat guns are totally amazing. So here you'll see me coloring in that seaweed with that pearlescent, and you can see just by how the light's bouncing off of that pearlescent color, you can see how it really glows compared to the rest of it. And I have no idea why that green showed up so much more pigmented than the rest of the colors. I used the same amount pretty much in everything, at least I tried to. But that just was like, bam, I'm here. I want to be seen. I'm a nice color green, and I am now a piece of seaweed. And you see me just layering on a bunch of colors. I'm creating kind of like a gem texture inside of the chest, as well as I'm going to be creating pearls, but I was lazy and didn't want the paint to dry, so I decided to go in with a jelly roll pen, and then I eventually go in with some white deleter ink just so I can make that white stand out more. So here I am going back in with the Sharpie, just making sure everything is nice and defined. And I feel like even though I wanted to make more emphasis on this palette, that I used a lot of Sharpie in this. And I kind of wish I didn't, but I feel like if I just did everything in these pearl colors, it would get too actually muddy and look gross together. So I'm glad that I did use the Sharpies. I really like the finished piece. I think the Sharpie and the pearl colors worked really well together. And it's just trying to get everything working and nice and cohesive, I guess. Now I'm just reaching for words. Here I'm going in with a deleter ink, as you can see, and adding some bubbles, and then I make one way too big, try to blot it out with a piece of paper towel, and that failed, but it's okay. I feel like I saved it with using that pearl color. That white is absolutely gorgeous, and I really wanted it to stand out, and this is the finished piece. So thank you so much for watching. Please press that subscribe button if you enjoyed, and like and comment if you have any comments, or if you like the video. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.